Hey guys, welcome back to the movie summary. Beginning of the movie, we see an old man named Pablo. He is a famous artist. He also has many fans. Pablo shows his famous pictures to two military officers. The officials praised Pablo that the paintings were very good. Next we see Pablo in a restaurant. He is impressing everyone with his painting talent. Two young girls were there. They love paintings. Pablo talks with them. He said, if you want to see my paintings you can visit my apartment. The next day two girls go to Pablo's house. Pablo is in rehearsals with his team members. Then he sees the girls and goes closer. Then he took them both to his room and showed them the paintings. One of the two girls is going back to her country. Then there is only one girl named Gillet. Knowing this, Pablo told Gillet that you can come here whenever you want. Later both left from there. A few days later we see the Gillet. Gillet was very impressed with Pablo. But she doesn't want to go to him. Because Pablo misbehaves with many girls. Gillet learned about this from outsiders. However, a few days later, Gillet approaches Pablo. Pablo was very happy to see her. Gillet gets wet while coming in the rain. Pablo is wiping her head with a towel. After he shows Gillet his artwork. There he kisses her. Pablo is surprised that even after kissing Gillet, she doesn't say anything to Pablo. Pablo became more famous after the independence of Paris. Everyone in the city thinks that Pablo is a very nice person. Gillet wants to learn painting. But her father wants Gillet to become a lawyer. One day Gillet told his father that she wanted to become a painter. He said that he is giving a last chance to change your decision. But Gillet insisted that I would become a painter. Then her father gets angry and beats her. However, she goes to Pablo the next day. Pablo is happy to see her and takes her to a secret room upstairs. And asked Gillet, will you stay with me? Gillet said okay to that. Pablo prepares the bed for Gillet, then she takes off her clothes. Seeing her like that, Pablo can't control himself. After that they both make private time together. The next day they go by car. Then Gillet says to Pablo that I know you dated many girls, but none of them wanted to be with you. To that Pablo says I will not date anyone except you from now on. In the next we see Pablo's wife and daughter. Pablo's wife is unaware of his affairs. Because Pablo only comes home once a week. In the next scene we see a girl. Pablo dated this girl and left. But she still thinks Pablo loves her. Still she waiting for Pablo. On the other hand, Pablo takes Gillet and goes to his farmhouse. The farmhouse is far from the city. Pablo tells Gillet that we will stay here for a few days. Gillet is also okay for that. Gillet thinks Pablo loves her. She wants to know if he really loves her or not. One day while Pablo is sleeping, Gillet grabs his belongings and tries to run away. But Pablo approaches Gillet and forces her into the church. Pablo asks Gillet to promise that you will always love me. Hearing this, Gillet understood that Pablo loves her. Later Gillet also works with Pablo. Along with Gillet, Pablo received more painting contracts. Pablo gives painting classes to Gillet. A few months later, Gillet gives birth to Pablo's child. Pablo always been with Gillet. But every Sunday he goes home to meet his wife and daughter. His wife thinks Pablo loves her very much. Gillet meets Pablo's wife when they go on vacation. Pablo's wife says with a Gillet that my husband loves me more than anyone else. It says don't come in between us. A few more wives came to Pablo. Actually Pablo left them after getting married. However, they are not angry with Pablo. Because Pablo gives them a lot of money. He also fulfills their desires. Even when Pablo meets his wives, Gillet lives happily with Pablo. But Gillet is a little afraid that he will leave her like his wives. Gillet became pregnant again. Now she is earning money through painting as well. Pablo goes to Poland for 3 weeks. Pablo asks his assistant to send the mails to Gillet. After reading the mails, Gillet realizes that Pablo did not write these mails. Pablo comes home after 3 weeks. Gillet slaps Pablo for sending fake mails. Then Pablo comforted her with love. Pablo knows how to handle girls. Then both will be happy again. Pablo started another business besides paintings. He loves this business. Because beautiful young girls work with him. Gillet was very sad to know this. Pablo used to come home late because of those girls. This led to a fight between the two. Now Pablo is in love with a girl named Jacqueline. Pablo spends more time with Jacqueline. Gillett suspects that Pablo is in love with another girl. Pablo goes to Jacqueline by lying to Gillett that he is going to Paris. After Pablo leaves, Gillett learns that Gillett's grandmother has had a stroke. That's why she also has to go to Paris. Gillett reaches Paris. Her father tells that grandmother died last night. Here Gillett meets her old friend. Later they both search for Pablo together. They see Pablo in a bar. Gillett sees Pablo flirting with a girl there. Later, Gillett tells Pablo about the death of his grandmother. She tells him that from now on I will stay here alone with my children. Pablo then tells her to do whatever you feel like. Next day morning Pablo says you can't live without me, and also no one can buy your paintings without me. After hearing all this, Gillett decides to leave him. Then Pablo cries for the first time in his life. Gillett then told Pablo that I was going to Paris for an experiment, I would stay there for a few days and come back. A few days later Gillett approaches Pablo. Now she sees Pablo and Jacqueline together. Pablo tries to close the Gillett. But Gillett doesn't give him a chance. Then Pablo says let's be friends. Gillett said okay to that. This is how the movie ends.